Welcome all. Today we are going to discuss about nutritional allowances for infants. In this video, we are going to discuss about what are all the nutritional needs and allowances of infants, macronutrients and micronutrient requirements, sources of nutrients, the effect of excess and deficient intake of specific nutrients. Nutritional allowances for infants. Next to fetal period, infant's first year of life is where rapid growth and development takes place. According to WHO, average weight of healthy newborn babies is around 3.2 kg. Healthy child doubles his or her birth weight by 6 months and triples by 1 year. The average length of the child is 50 to 55 centimeter and it increases by 20 to 25 centimeters in a year. At birth, the child has 75% water and 12 to 14% of fat. By the end of first year, the water content decreases by 60% and fat content increases by 24%. The hemoglobin level of a well-nourished child is 17 to 20 gram per 100 ml of blood, which is sufficient for the first 4 to 5 months of life for rapid blood circulation and adequate oxygen carrying capacity. The full-term infant is able to digest protein, emulsified fats, and carbohydrates such as lactose. Till 3 months of life, the salivary secretion and gastric secretion of infants are low. The growth during the infancy is very rapid. Dietary adaptations are required. For the first 6 months of life, the nutritional needs are largely met by the exclusive breastfeeding. The recommended dietary allowances of an infant is based on the composition of breast milk. Now we are moving with the macronutrients. Energy. Energy requirements during infancy are very high since it is a period of rapid growth. The energy requirements for infants and children are calculated based on two things. One is total energy expenditure plus the energy needs for growth. Infant requires 92 calories of energy per kg body weight, whereas an adult requires only 40 kilocalories of energy per kg body weight. The current available data suggests that the energy needs are higher during the first 3 months of life and then falls in next 6 months when the growth rates are lower. It increases after 9 months when the child is very active. If the excess calorie intake persists, it may lead to infantile obesity, predisposing to adult obesity. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates serves as a source of energy to bodily activities while protein and fats are needed for building and repairing tissues. For 0 to 6 months, 55 grams per day, and for 7 to 12 months, 95 grams per day of carbohydrates is required. The source of carbohydrates for infants is lactose, which is found in breast milk. Lactose-free infant milks based on soy-based formula feeds are the source of carbohydrate sucrose. When supplementary foods are started, infants get carbohydrates from whole grain cereals, pulses, vegetables and fruits. When fruit juices are introduced, caution should be taken. If fruit juices remains for a long time in the gut undigested, creates fermentation leading to discomfort. Protein. Protein required for growth and maintenance requirements. Protein intake of healthy infants for the first 6 months is about 1.16 to 1.69 grams per kg body weight for the first 6 months. The infant's protein requirements are higher compared to that of adults due to the increased demand for skeleton and muscle growth. Infants require high quality protein for the following functions: build, maintain and repair new tissues, manufacture important enzymes, hormones, antibodies and other components, and perform very specified functions in regulating body processes. The source of protein for the first 6 months of life is exclusive breast milk, and after that, good quality protein should be supplemented. Proteins from milk, egg, and animal source is supposed to be providing good quality protein. Fats and essential fatty acids. The lipids are required for the infants to supply energy, providing cushioning effect to the organs and thereby protect the body organs for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, that is vitamin A, D, E, and K. For brain development, essential fatty acids is provided. Healthy skin, lecherous hair, eye development, resistance to infection and disease. RDA for infants for first 6 months is nil and for next 6 months is 25 grams. The source of lipid in the older infants diet include meat and other dairy products. egg yolks, and any fats or oils added to home prepared food. Breast milk contains significant amount of cholesterol. Then we are moving to micronutrients, which includes vitamins and minerals. Vitamin A. Vitamin A is necessary for the proper vision, growth and development of bone, healthy skin, hair, mucous membrane, and healthy immune system. The RDA prescribed by ICMR for Indian infants is 170 micrograms. Daily intake of vitamin A through breast milk is about 140 micrograms during the first 6 months of life. The rest of the requirement is met by the reserves. A healthy infant has sufficient store of vitamin A in liver at birth, which may last for 6 months. After 6 months, when foods are introduced, complementary foods for infants containing vitamin A or carotenes includes egg yolk, yellow and dark green leafy vegetables and fruits. Example, spinach, greens, sweet potatoes, apricots, peaches, and liver. If enough of vitamin A is not given through foods, the infant may be prone to vitamin A deficiency, which is widely prevalent in developing countries. Next, vitamin D. Vitamin D is also called as sunshine vitamin. It can be synthesized by body with the help of sunlight. It is essential for the utilization and retention of calcium and phosphorus. Human milk typically contains vitamin D concentration of 25 international units per liter or less. Infants about 0 to 12 months requires 5 micrograms or 200 international units of vitamin D per day. Then vitamin E. Vitamin E is received by the infant from breast milk and infant formula. It helps in the production of vitamin A and other essential fatty acids. It also protects the damage of tissues. The source of vitamin E for infants after 6 months is green leafy vegetable oil and their products, wheat germ oil, whole grain bread, etc. 0 to 6 months requires 4 milligrams per day and for 7 to 12 months requires 5 milligrams per day. Next, vitamin K. The newborn is susceptible to hemorrhage caused by the lack of vitamin K. Breastfed baby is more susceptible than artificially fed. The deficiency can occur if the mothers have received anticoagulants. Breast milk is very low in vitamin K. Green leaf vegetables, pork, and liver are the good sources of vitamin K. 0 to 6 months requires 2.0 micrograms per day and for 7 to 12 months requires 2.5 micrograms per day of vitamin K. Next, we are moving with water-soluble vitamins, that is vitamin B1. Thiamine is a water-soluble vitamin. It is required for the release of energy during carbohydrate metabolism and normal functioning of nervous system. Food sources of thiamine include breast milk, whole grain breads, cereals, and other fortified foods, legumes, lean pork, and potatoes. For 0 to 6 months requires 0.2 milligrams per day and for 7 to 12 months requires 0.3 milligrams per day. Next, vitamin B2. Riboflavin is a water-soluble vitamin which helps the body to release the energy from protein, carbohydrate, and fat. Food sources of riboflavin includes uh, breast milk, infant formula, organ meats, uh, dietary dairy products, egg yolks, green vegetables and whole grain cereals, and enriched grain products. The mother's milk deficient in riboflavin leads to the deficiency in infants, leading to inhibition of growth, lesions of mouth, dermatitis, and anemia. For 0 to 6 months, 0.3 milligrams per day, and for 7 to 12 months, 0.4 milligrams per day of vitamin B2 is required. Niacin. Niacin is otherwise known as vitamin B3. Niacin is a water-soluble vitamin which helps in the aid of the release of energy during metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. This vitamin has the important role to play in the conversion of amino acid tryptophan to niacin in the body. Like thiamine, food sources of niacin include breast milk, egg yolks, poultry, meat, fish, and whole grain breads, cereals, and fortified foods. The deficiency of this disease leads to pellagra. For 0 to 6 months, 2 milligrams per day and 7 to 12 months requires 4 milligrams per day of niacin. Vitamin B6. Pyridoxine is another water-soluble vitamin. It aids in the metabolism of fat and helps protein in the building of body tissues. As protein intake increases, the need of pyridoxine also increases. Sources of vitamin B6 includes legumes and potatoes. 0 to 6 months requires 0.1 milligrams per day, and for 7 to 12 months requires 0.3 milligrams per day. Folate. Folate is another B complex vitamin. It is necessary for the cell division, proper growth of healthy blood vessels, and formulation of genetic material within the cell. Apart from breast milk, infant receives folate from green leafy vegetables, oranges, whole grain bread, cereals, legumes, lean beef, egg yolks, and liver. For 0 to 6 months requires 65 micrograms per day, and for 7 to 12 months requires 80 micrograms per day of folate. Vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin. It is essential for the development of healthy blood vessels and proper functioning of nervous system. Breast milk and infant formula has a good amount of vitamin B12. Milk, meat and egg supply good amount of this vitamin. 0 to 6 months requires 0.4 micrograms per day, and 7 to 12 months requires 1 micrograms per day. Next, we are moving with vitamin C. Vitamin C is an important for the infant to protect them from scurvy. Human milk contains twice the amount of ascorbic acid in comparison with the human milk, cow's milk. Additional vitamin C sources includes vegetables, example tomatoes, cabbage, potatoes, fruits, example citrus fruits, papaya and strawberries. The vitamin C for infants is necessary for the collagen formation, proper bone growth, tissue repair, increasing the immunity, and helps in the absorption of iron. For 0 to 6 months, 40 milligrams per day, and 7 to 12 months, 50 milligrams per day of vitamin C is required. Then we are moving with the minerals. Calcium plays an important role in the growth and development of bone and its maintenance at the later stage of life. It is also required for the proper tooth development and maintenance of healthy nerves and muscles. For 0 to 6 months, 210 milligrams per day, and for 7 to 12 months, 270 milligrams per day of calcium is required. An infant can get sufficient amount of calcium from breast milk or from the formula milk for the first 6 months of life, and thereafter it should be supplied by the other food sources along with milk. Calcium from breast milk is best absorbed. The calcium absorption is also based on the availability of vitamin D in the body. The deficiency of calcium is leads to rickets. Iron. Iron is an important mineral needed for the proper growth and formation of healthy blood cells. It is important part of hemoglobin, which is required for the transport of oxygen to the tissues, and a part of myoglobin, which stores the oxygen in the muscles, and many enzymes in the body. For 0 to 6 months, 0.27 milligrams per day of iron is required, and for 7 to 12 months, 3 milligrams per day of iron is required. During the first 4 months, the baby's blood volume doubles. That is why, without depending on the dietary iron, infant doubles his birth weight by the end of 6 months. After 6 months, the iron reserve is not sufficient for the growth of infant, hence the dietary iron is required. Zinc. Zinc is an important mineral in the body which is required for the formation of protein in the body. Thus, it helps in the wound healing, blood formation, maintenance of tissues, growth, taste perception, and healthy immune system. For infants about 7 to 12 months, 3 milligrams of zinc per day is required. Breast milk is considered to be a good source of zinc for the first 6 months, but it is inadequate for the older infant. In addition to the breast milk, complementary food sources of zinc are meat, poultry, liver, egg yolks, milk products, legumes, and fortified grain products. Iodine. The requirement of iodine, according to WHO for infants and children of 0 to 59 months, is 6 to 30 micrograms per kg per day. Iodine is required for the brain growth and development. Children born as cretins are due to the presence of goiter in mothers during pregnancy. Sodium. Sodium is a mineral required for the proper maintenance of water balance, regulation of blood volume, functioning of cell membranes and tissues. For 0 to 12 months, 100 to 200 milligrams per day of sodium is required. Healthy full-term infants receive water from breast milk. The sodium content of cow's milk is much higher than the breast milk. Next, we are moving with the important nutrient, that is water. Water is an important nutrient required for the infant for the following reasons: to regulate the body temperature, to transport the nutrients and waste products, to regulate the cell metabolism, to have normal functioning of the kidneys. The infant requirement of water is met by the breast milk. Once the complementary feeds are introduced, sterile water should be given, as waterborne diseases are very common in infants. Now we are moving to the nutshell. In a nutshell, we have learned nutritional needs and allowances of infants, both the macronutrient and micronutrient requirements, and how the sources of nutrients are met, the effect of excess and deficient intake of specific nutrients. Thank you.